In this presentation, I will explain the romanticization of toxic relationships in entertainment. In everyday entertainment, filmmakers and scriptwriters glorify coercive control in relationships. There are countless films, novels, and TV shows that create a narrative which normalizes abuse within heterosexual relationships by deeming the controlling behavior of a man as loving and caring. I chose this topic because it forces young women and girls to internalize abuse and continue to normalize this idea that abuse is simply love. The problem is that this romanticization manipulates young women to excuse abuse to pursue the ideal romance that is being pushed onto them by entertainment. But first, we must ask the question, what is an abusive relationship, or what defines an abusive relationship? An abusive or toxic relationship is defined as a pattern of behaviors by one partner that is used to maintain dominance over the other. These behaviors are not limited to physical harm, prevention of a partner from enjoying their privacy, coercing a partner to perform unsexual actions, and etc. However, this also could be applied to gaslighting, which is a form of emotional and mental abuse. What we see here in the picture is what many of us visualize when we think of an abusive relationship. We visualize a bruised woman flinching in the presence of a man whose rough appearance frightens everyone. However, toxic relationships are not as obvious as this image depicts, especially in entertainment. For example, Twilight. The Twilight series was a very popular movie and novel for many audiences when it was released. Many young teenage girls and women fell head over heels for Edward Cullen and Jacob, the attractive vampire and the werewolf stars who competed over Bella Swan, a normal human girl. However, people failed to realize that the relationship Bella had with this mysterious vampire was extremely toxic and manipulative, which was analyzed by Olivia Barr's video, Examples of Abuse in Twilight. She highlighted common traits. The first one was controlling behavior and stalking. As an example, she provided a clip where Edward confesses that he followed Bella because he, quote, felt very protective of her. The second common trait was the assertion of dominance to instill fear. For example, Edward declared to Bella that he was, quote, the world's most dangerous predator, and then stated that he wanted to kill her. And her response was merely, I still love you. The third trait is jealousy and possessiveness, which was very evident when Edward and Jacob fought over Bella after Jacob was revealed to forcefully kiss her. The last common trait was violence and endangerment, which was also evident when Edward pushes Bella forcefully into a table filled with glass in order to, quote-unquote, save her from his brother. The ideal romance. What is the message being sent to young girls? The example that I just presented to you, if you take away the mythological plot of vampires and werewolves, you notice a common concept. A mysterious and handsome man who displays possessive behavior is being deemed the perfect man of a teenage girl's fantasy. This idea of the perfect romance is demonstrated by a study reported by Dr. Cheryl Eve Toscano in our journal, My Situation Wasn't That Unique, The Experience of Teens in Abusive Relationships. Her research consisted of gathering and asking female college students who had a history of high school dating violence to elaborate on their experience with their abusive partners. A common trait was how these women explained that the physical attributes of their high school boyfriends met their ideal image, which was being older, as well as being a rebel with a respectable status of popularity. attractiveness, popularity, and the rebelliousness appealed to this young woman during their high school years because they became flustered with the idea that an attractive boy was choosing them compared to other girls. This made them feel as if they were, quote, unworthy of the boyfriend's attention, end quote. Because of this, he became a symbol of risk and mystery, something almost untouchable for these girls to chase after, which made it even more appealing for them. Here were some quotes from the interviews that they've had. A very prominent one was, his mom left him when he was 2. His dad always beat him. He would always say, now that you've left me, I have no one. I thought I could fix it for him. Because of this gaslighting, these young women were tricked into believing that they had the duty and responsibility of fixing their partners rather than entering in a relationship where 2 individuals are equal. Another prominent example is 50 Shades of Grey. This glorification of the ideal romance is also demonstrated in this example. Emily Boyle, an online writer, critiques the book and film by noting key aspects of Christian Grey. He was similar to the idea of a handsome prince, which was emphasized by Disney, wealthy and good-looking, and had a complete obsession over controlling Anastasia through stalking and isolating her from her family, along with determining what she does. This story and its many fans only sends this message that coercive control, excessive jealousy, repeated criticism, sexual coercion, etc. is normal and demonstrates love and excitement in a relationship, when in reality, it's not. This sentiment, paired with the concept of an ideal romance, will only push young girls to accept abuse as a part of romance. We must also note that the role of attractiveness plays a key role in how audiences view abuse and disturbing behavior. For example, in one Korean TV show, there was a woman who expressed her frustrations with being stalked by her husband. What was most frightening was that when she went on stage, she visibly flinched when one of the male hosts helped get her on stage. She kept going to detail about this manipulation and invasion of her privacy. But when it was time to reveal her husband, the hosts and audiences themselves became enamored by the man's attractiveness. Their look of disgust quickly disappeared and was replaced with a friendly attitude towards the manipulator. Then comes in the power of narrative. In order to undo this damage of glorifying toxic relationships, the first steps must be taken by scriptwriters and novelists who have perpetuated this ideal in the first place. They must undo this by using simplistic language and imagery to make sure children associate toxicity as bad, realistically showcase physical and emotional trauma, and establish the message that toxic relationships cannot be fixed. Perfect example is Steven Universe. Steven Universe is a show adored by a wide range of fans, from young children to adults. Rebecca Sugar, the creator, covers a wide range of topics, and one episode simplified the complex narrative of abuse, especially between 2 characters, Lapis and Jasper. Lapis, the blue figure, has felt scared of the ocean and water after trying to trap Jasper in the ocean with her. The fusion, as you can see there, is a representation of their relationship. Because of this, she always felt scared of the ocean and water, which was a loss of her identity and feeling to be secured. Jasper was obsessed with power in the relationship and promised to change herself when she confronted Lapis again. Since the research I presented is mainly focusing on the negative effects of the ideal romance on young women, it will be worthwhile to explore this topic of romanticized obsession based on the perspective of men. To answer these questions, Why is there a gendered obsession for male control over women? How does masculinity and male gender roles subject men to be the dominant partner? What are the long-term effects on men under toxic relationship, and how do they react to abuse or reason why they inflict abuse? The overall message is that we all need to take responsibility for unraveling this belief that abuse is also love. Despite this, all scriptwriters and authors have the same ability to use the power of narrative to warn young girls and women of abusive relationships. It is time to stop the influence of being pressured to have the perfect romance. Thank you.